What's up, guys? It's Intense Investor here, coming at you again for another great episode on my YouTube channel. This episode, I actually had an awesome AMA with Colin Pape. He is the founder of Presearch, which is a decentralized search engine that has been growing since 2017. That's when he founded it. So I had a great AMA with him. You know, I asked him 11 or 12 questions. He gave some great answers. We're going to jump into that right now. Thanks for watching.
There we go.
Hey.
Hey, Evan. How's it going, man?
Good. Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Right on.
So how things going?
Pretty busy, man, but good. And yeah, I don't know. Who knows with the crypto space?
Great. So you're out in California?
Unfortunately, I'm in Canada, actually.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, East Coast, South Carolina, down around Charleston. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Our CTO is in Greenville.
Oh, really? I grew up in the upstate. Yeah, near Anderson.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Actually, Clemson grad.
That's awesome. No way.
Yeah, it's a small world, ain't it?
Yeah, man, for sure.
How did it all start?
Yeah, so I've been in kind of the search space, more the local search space for quite a while, like over 20 years now. And in 2011, so my other business, shopcity.com, it provides communities with like a local marketplace similar to like an amazon.com, powered by your local businesses. And so every city gets its own site. So it'd be like shopcharleston.com, shopmiami.com, that kind of thing. And we picked up a portfolio of those domain names like 20 years ago, and we've got like 8,000 of them, just about all the cities in North America. And so in 2009, 2010, we ended up doing a partnership out in California, out in Silicon Valley, right where Google actually is based in Mountain View, to run shopmountainview.com with the city government, the Chamber of Commerce, and the local newspaper. And kind of like right after we started getting off the ground, all of a sudden Google, who is a member of the Chamber of Commerce there, fires up this Get Your City Online program, and they start doing something very similar. So we're like, oh, okay, that's kind of weird, but you know, it's a good idea. So of course they would do it. And then wake up one day in the middle of July, and all of our sites, almost 90% of them, when you search for them, even by name, like search for shopmountainview.com, it shows up on page 8 of Google. So we're like, what the heck? What's going on here? You know, thinking that maybe, they're targeting us, or, hey, maybe we made some type of mistake. So we end up kind of going through this whole process, trying to get in touch with them, trying to figure out what's wrong. No dice. And so eventually, we're getting pretty desperate. Like all of our stuff has been like basically AWOL on Google for a couple of weeks now. And I end up seeing this article from this about this lawyer, a guy named Gary Reback, and he was out in Silicon Valley as well. He was like this big antitrust guy. He was the guy who broke up Microsoft with Windows and Internet Explorer back in '99. And he was doing an antitrust investigation into Google and working on like an FTC investigation. So I reached out to him. Next thing I know, we've got a meeting, and he ends up, getting press coverage for us, and ends up getting us a contact at Google, and we end up getting our issue resolved. But in the process of going through all that, realized just how much market power Google has, and that they have the ability to basically, make or break your business online. And just really kind of didn't sit right. So started thinking, there's got to be some way to break the Google monopoly with the free market, rather than looking at just government intervention. And so kind of came up with the concept of Presearch. And initially, this was like 2013, 2014, thought of it as like the Switzerland of search, basically trying to have this level playing field. And ended up building a prototype and getting really good feedback from the small user base that we had, kind of organically, just friends and family and customers and whatnot, but didn't really see a go-to-market strategy. And then in 2017, got acquainted with Ethereum, realized, oh man, we can build this thing and crowdfund it and enable people to get rewarded in a crypto token when they search, which then gives them an incentive to switch off of Google. And then that we could close the other side of the token ecosystem by mandating payment for the advertising platform in the same token. And so it ended up, getting pretty well received. We found some banner ads on CoinMarketCap that worked really well, like 100 to 1 return on our ad spend. And that kind of drove the crowd sale for Presearch, and brought in 7.5 million in 2017. And then, kind of been building
Nice.
ever since then. Up to 3.8 million registered users now, about 150 million searches a month currently. And great team. CTO based near you down in Greenville, South Carolina.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, things are going well.
Yeah. I also noticed that you got Presearch installed on quite a few Android phones, also pre-installed, right?
Yeah, so that was an interesting thing. That was, a government intervention in the EU. They basically forced Google, rather than setting Google as the default search engine all the time, to implement this search choice screen where people would have the opportunity to choose a search engine, and we became one of the few options that are there. And so, yeah, I've been picking up a ton of European users through that.
Yeah, that's pretty huge, actually. That's something a lot of people in my group didn't really point out, but it's something I had read, last year. I thought it was pretty cool. Just the growth of it,
Yeah, big deal for us, man. Absolutely, yeah.
So, like, moving forward, the rest of 2022, 2023, even looking farther ahead in the future over the next decade, how do you want to set yourself apart from, Google, Bing, Yandex, some of these other search engines, other than just the decentralization aspect? What other things do you want to bring to the table to really set yourself apart from those other search engines?
Yeah, so I mean, at the core, the key difference is, it's community driven. We see this being more of like a utility on the internet. So trying to have a platform that really does represent the interests of the users, and not just some shareholders or some other kind of group that has an agenda that maybe runs counter to the users. But that is kind of the long-term vision, and there's a lot involved there as far as open sourcing the software and enabling the community to participate in the ranking and curation process for the information. But along the way, looking at how we can leverage blockchain basically to facilitate that, and ultimately build out our own decentralized index that is powered by nodes operated by users all over the place, so that we have decentralized infrastructure, and that there's this model where we're sharing the value of the ecosystem. I mean, when you look at Google, they are bringing in over 100 billion a year in revenue just through those ads.
Crazy.
It's unbelievable, right? It's the most successful business model in history, and it's something that if we can make that work, but have it so that kind of the output of that system is being funneled back out to the community, instead of put into an offshore corporation in Ireland, or just strictly into the shareholders, which very few Google users are actually shareholders. We just think that it kind of provides a bit of a better, more distributed model for the economics of the system. But as far as tech goes, looking at through kind of the rest of this year, looking at just really trying to make that user experience as competitive with Google as possible. So shortest term thing, we need to add autocomplete into the search results, so that as you're searching, you're getting suggestions. That's kind of our most requested feature. That'll be coming. And then, implementing a blockchain that we can utilize to start, more on-chain governance, and using that for consensus, and starting to coordinate some of the activities of the nodes. Right now they're just doing like this aggregation, basically, where they're grabbing information from external sources. But next phase will be crawling the web, and then indexing. And there's, file storage and relays and a whole bunch of other kind of aspects of the system that are going to ultimately be able to be coordinated through a blockchain, and then having that be utilized really for a DAO to manage the project, rather than kind of the current entity that I've set up. But then, one of the biggest things that we see as being a way that we can really compete with Google is we have these open source community packages. So anybody can go onto our GitHub, and they can basically, at the top of the search results, there's like kind of these knowledge panels. If you search for like Bitcoin or crypto, you'll see the crypto information package, but we can basically trigger those for just about anything. And so we could enable people that have real kind of, domain expertise in a certain niche to build out these packages and enable the users to get really quick, really deep, valuable results. And Google kind of does it for sports scores and weather, and they've obviously been building that out. They've got a fair number of them, but we think there's a whole lot more that could be created over time, and that could be a much better, ultimate user experience. And then, looking at kind of some of the moonshot stuff, I mean, looking at metaverses, and is there a way to put, search into a metaverse, whether it's voice search or it's activated in other ways. And then kind of short-term, go-to-market strategy, a huge opportunity. There's a lot of kind of under-monetized, underutilized web traffic out there. People that have websites and are looking for different ways that they can collect value from that. So enabling them to embed a search field onto their site, start directing traffic into Presearch. And then one of the things that we're going to be rolling out later this year is something called community search engines, where you can basically stake tokens and then create basically a white label version of Presearch under your brand. So you could have one for your community, and you could put in all the different resources for things that, your community finds valuable. And then as the owner of that site, as your members are searching, you would get a fragment of the tokens that they're earning as their search reward. So that's, coming in the pretty short-term future as well.
That's cool. I know you mentioned the whole like ad revenue, the paying for, the ad words, and a lot of that rewards going, or a lot of those rewards going back, to the people. I don't know if it'd be the ones I run into nodes or how that would work. I had some people asking me those kind of questions. Maybe if you could break that down a little more. There's a couple of people really interested in that, because I mean, people, they run the nodes, they want to get the rewards, that's a big part of it. So there's going to be a lot of questions about it. But as far as just the keyword ad revenue, how would you think that would be distributed in rewards, or partially in rewards, or
Absolutely. Yeah. So kind of the way that we look at it. So right now, we've been rewarding people for running nodes on testnet. And, until we have the ad platform basically in consumptive mode. So right now it uses keyword staking. So whoever stakes the most tokens against a keyword has their ad displayed. But there's no real kind of consumptive charge on that, which is really what Google and all the other search engines operate off of, that cost per click. Every time you click, a buck comes in, or a couple bucks. Sometimes it's, like Google has some clicks that they're getting like hundreds of dollars for. It's crazy. San Diego disaster restoration, that's like, a $200 click or something like that. And so getting, into that consumptive phase is really what's required. And so we see that happening over the next 6 months, and, focused right now on kind of building out the audience and making it more valuable to advertisers. There will be significant development throughout the year on the keyword staking platform, and really getting that dialed in with better, targeting, filtering, just the ability to have multiple ads, or a round robin kind of pro rata ad model, where you get a percentage of the traffic based on what percentage of the overall amount is staked for that keyword. Right now it's like a winner take all model. So there's kind of a bunch of developments that are coming there that then enables us to switch into consumptive mode. And then as those clicks are coming in, and it's denominated either in pre or in a stable coin, we take basically those rewards, and then we divvy it up. So, let's say 20% goes to the node operators, and, 10 or 20% goes to the searchers, and then some goes into a development fund, and then, others go into, marketing fund. So that's basically how we see it getting divided out. We don't have those specific numbers right now. There's kind of, some crossover, for instance, where like node rewards, if we juice those and we get people really pumped up and they help us market the product, then there's kind of a bit of a marketing crossover, right, from that marketing bucket. So So yeah, that's the plan though. That's how it's going to work. And we've run different experiments at different times over the life of the project. And yeah, there's a ton of potential there. I mean, search is just a massively valuable, economically, valuable space.
So I noticed that y'all had been watching a lot of these, gateway nodes. I think
Yep.
Singapore,
Yep.
maybe another one in Europe.
Yep.
So you got like over 60,000 regular nodes now.
Yep.
Does that help with the traffic and the congestion and everything, having those gateway nodes and having that in place before everything switches over to the main net? Is that kind of the thought process sort of with some of that?
Yeah, that's really one of the big things with mainnet. So mainnet is happening next week on May 26th, and
Yep.
basically all the traffic has currently been running through like a single node gateway, which works okay for US users, which is our largest demographic. But we've got the majority of traffic is international. So it's about 25 to 30% that's in the US, and then the rest is from all over the place. And so for those people, there's a lot of latency. They, are basically hitting this server in the US, and then that's going to the node, and then the node has to do all the work, and then it has to return to them. So in some places it's, slower than the US. And so what we're doing as part of kind of the distribution and decentralization, and then just improving the search response times for international users, we're basically firing up to start like another node gateway in each of those continents, so that people there are able to connect their nodes to those gateways, making that kind of pathway shorter. There's kind of less hops as somebody is traversing the internet. So that is on kind of the node and node gateway side. And then for the searcher, they're able, and we're switching actually as well. I don't know if it's going to be Friday or Monday, but we're switching over to presearch.com from presearch.org. So that's going to be a really big kind of marketing development for us. And so, when people are then hitting the presearch.com, it will be served locally to them, which will cut down the response time significantly. And then, yeah, just ultimately looking at how we can, kind of, it's like sharding, or you're trying to partition things as effectively as possible locally, so that they can be quick, have still that redundancy, but trying to find that kind of balance point. So that this is kind of the first step in that whole journey, which is going to take some time to really get dialed in.
Hey, you guys feeling pretty good about the main net launch on May 26th there?
Yeah, we're super pumped, man. Team's been working on it for a long time, been making some great progress. It's kind of, it's the node stuff, but then it's also, the .com switch over. We've got a new homepage. There's kind of like, we're harmonizing everything together. There's a ton of moving parts right now. And then ultimately implementing like a Web3 withdrawals platform, which is kind of the segue into like a Web3 login, so that, ultimately it won't need to be based on email.
That's cool. What other blockchains are you guys thinking about being on, like AVAX or Polygon? Any others?
Those two are actually the two main ones.
Okay.
We've been approached by both those projects who see there's really significant usage in Presearch. I mean, if we were powering everything that it's currently doing, all the microtransactions, if that were currently on chain, it would be the busiest blockchain in the world. So we've got a lot of consumer usage, and ultimately a lot of economic value opportunity within the system. And so those are the two kind of biggest ones that we're looking at. AVAX has subnets, which would enable us to basically kind of carve out our own kind of layer 2 on AVAX, so that it's our own resources and validators, and then Polygon has Polygon Edge, which is kind of similar. But we've also been talking with Constellation. Their token symbol is DAG, D-A-G.
Okay.
And they have something as well that seems, like could be potentially a good solution. They're not quite as far along, I would say. but they have these state channels that are kind of equivalent. They, if their technology worked, like their actual model really makes a lot of sense. But again, they're a little bit earlier than the others. And then, I mean, ultimately, we see this being like a multi-chain world, and we want to be, you know, available on multiple chains. So, you know, Binance Smart Chain is used a lot. I don't know. I mean, not really Solana guys, but Solana seems to be getting some traction. You know, anywhere that people want to hold their pre, ultimately, we feel like we should have a bridge and enable that to be supported by the portal. So
Phantom might be a good one too. It's really quick. It's also a DAG, just like Constellation.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, pretty quick. It caught on a lot last year, especially.
Interesting.
Yeah. Stick a little bit of a tumble like most coins have. But
yeah.
I'm sure future here, we're going to see a rebound with a lot of them.
Yeah, for sure. Early days still.
So another question one of the guys had in my community was just kind of asking, like, what if you get a bad actor, with malicious intentions? You got good ways in place to prevent this and shut it down pretty quick, security wise?
Yeah, so I mean, definitely huge concern. You know, we've invested pretty significantly over the life of the project in like an anti-abuse system that's really more designed, you know, to protect the project against token farmers and those that are kind of, you know, adding bad traffic into the system, just trying to collect tokens. That's bots. Yeah, that's been a huge, you know, battle ongoing. Always will be, I'm sure. But yeah, as far as you know, people trying to, you know, poison results or you know, maliciously you know, utilize a node, that is ultimately why we have staking involved. So there's something, you know, where they have something at risk. It's pretty hard to like target specifically like traffic to a specific node or a node to a specific searcher. It's basically impossible. So you know, it's not really, it wouldn't really be a targeted attack that could be facilitated, but yeah, we've got ways that we can prevent those types of things. And ultimately, it is going to be an ongoing kind of game of cat and mouse and whack-a-mole, and we're always going to have to be evolving. But yeah, so far hasn't really been a huge issue. Got a pretty good community of, you know, white hat security researchers as well. They're always kind of scanning for things and trying to break the system, and really grateful to them for the work that they're doing, and you know, have a bounty program in place for them. So trying to just ultimately, you know, stay ahead of things, and if anything ever goes wrong, make sure that we, you know, handle it in the best way we possibly can.
Yeah, that's awesome. You always got those people out there that are mischievous and up to no good, trying to bring networks down and all that stuff. You were talking about marketing just a little bit a little while ago. You know, some of that, a lot of it's just people, you know, finding it, you know, searching for it. Presearch becoming pretty well known now. You have some other campaigns that you're going to run, you know, in the future? I'm sure you do. Some people are asking me about it in my community, so I thought it was a pretty good question, you know, like getting the word out there even more about Presearch. How do you intend to kind of conquer that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big need and a big opportunity. And I mean, we've done a pretty good job of attracting users and you know, starting to build brand awareness. But ultimately, I mean, we kind of feel like, you know, we've still been in beta mode essentially. We haven't had, you know, even presearch.com, for instance. I mean, that alone is going to be a really significant development for the project. And so mainnet to me is really like kicking off that next phase of the project, where now we're, you know, it's not totally dialed in yet, but it's dialed in enough. We've got, mobile apps, we've got all the browser extensions, we're on presearch.com. We've got a lot of our user experience dialed in, and some of the pain points for the project are solved or are very close to being solved. And so now we're in a good position to go out and bring in new users and have them be sticky, so that they, continue to use Presearch. So, right now, yeah, we're kind of shifting gears, getting into marketing mode. We have just hired a new marketing agency that is going to be targeting specifically kind of the crypto space, that we're pretty excited about. They've got a great track record. And, ultimately, basically everything almost has been organic. It's been driven through our referral program. And that's been working pretty well, but we've got an opportunity to, do an even better job leveraging that platform, and just really going out there and targeting first the crypto community. Figure there's about 100 million people in there that definitely are users, and there's a good database of let's call it 5,000 solid projects on CoinMarketCap that really should all be advertising on Presearch. And that right there is a pretty significant base. And then you start branching out beyond there, and you look at, well, how did Google get traction? How do some of these other, search companies get traction? The founder of DuckDuckGo even wrote a book that basically outlines exactly what they did for user acquisition. So there's a lot of really interesting strategies in there that I think are still relevant to Presearch, and we're definitely looking at executing on a lot of the things that they are. And one of the interesting things is, as you start getting like an audience more segmented, it becomes easier to target them. So DuckDuckGo, for instance, has been getting significant traffic. They're getting over 100 million searches a day, or around 100 million searches a day right now. They have basically segmented the audience into like a really meaningful group for us that we can now specifically target. We're looking for DuckDuckGo users, whereas they had to kind of, pull them out of the general pool. Now it gets more targeted, or, whether it's Brave or some of these other privacy preserving projects. It becomes easier and easier for us to kind of target those specific users. So, that's certainly in the cards. And then, as I mentioned, kind of this community search engine model. So enabling influencers that already have audiences, as well as, different niche communities. Even large groups could be, universities or large companies that have specific resources that they might want to offer to their students or their employees. There's an opportunity for all these different groups to have their own version of Presearch that is offering, value to their community, saving them time and giving them the ability to earn, a fraction of the reward tokens that all their members are bringing in. So we're kind of, activating a bunch of these things. And then ultimately over the long term, we think, it's pretty good timing, as far as like, there's more and more people that are upset with Google. Everything that kind of happened after 2016 and Trump and then COVID and all this stuff. There's a lot of people that have become pretty kind of upset with the agendas and big tech, and realizing that maybe their values are not supported by some of these big tech projects. And so our opportunity to connect with influencers that are targeting those audiences and then introduce Presearch to them, and do it in a way where it's not just like, a paid sponsorship, where it's, an ad. We, like BitBoy, for instance, we've got just a partnership with him, and, we don't pay him anything. It's a traffic exchange. He's running some ads on Presearch, and he's getting traffic from Presearch in exchange. He's basically being a little bit more verbal and vocal with how he's Presearching it instead of Googling it when he's doing his videos. And then that kind of, brings exposure to the brand. So you can imagine if we get like a Joe Rogan or somebody like that using Presearch, then that opens Presearch up to a massive audience. So, and it kind of, with a lot of the stuff that some of these guys have said, they kind of look a little stupid still going, oh yeah, I'm just Googling this, right? What, you're gonna duck go it? It just doesn't like have that verb. Whereas pre-searching it, you know, kind of makes sense. So yeah, we're you know, there's a lot of stuff coming down the pipe that we're pretty excited about. Marketing, honestly, is the thing that we're most excited about. But in order to market it, we had to build it first, and that's been like a bit of a saga, you know.
Yeah, I remember when Google first started, like when it's been a while, like way back when I was probably like early 20s. I just turned 40 last year, and you know, I just started hearing people talking about Google and stuff, and there was a lot of word of mouth spreading of it also once it really started to catch on fire. But you're right, you know, about all the privacy issues. You know, there was a lot of political kind of nonsense. You know, I'm not going to get into a lot of that, but a lot of that kind of stuff. You know, you even have these times like me and some of the guys I work with in the office, we were talking about, you'll be talking about something, you know, like some kind of wine you like or something that you want to, you know, purchase. And then, you know, you'll go to watch, you know, TV or turn on YouTube, and that'll be the ad. So, you know, you just wonder if it's listening or
super
I've heard a lot of people say that. So it's pretty strange. I think a lot of people are kind of turned off by it, and they are looking for alternative solutions, you know, as you kind of put it.
Totally. No tracking with Presearch, no profiling. We don't store your search queries. It's, you know, it's a private search engine, and ultimately, like, you can do all that stuff. And I guess, you know, Google kind of has hit a point where they've needed to, like, you know, squeeze the you know, last few drops of you know, lemon into the lemonade. But for us, it's like, man, you've already got targeting just based on the query that somebody is entering. That's like transactional intent, and it's directional advertising. Very, very valuable. You really don't need all this other profiling and other stuff for it to be still super economically valuable. So
that's totally true. That's really all the questions I got. You know, I think that's enough. If you want to add anything to it, you know, feel free to, if you got anything else.
I mean, main thing, just if anybody's interested in checking it out, and I don't know when this is going to go live, but it's, you know, presearch.com is to use the search engine. That will be switched over in the next, you know, few days. And then presearch.io has all the information on the project. Twitter is at Presearch News. And then Telegram, t.me/presearch, really kind of the next big thing. And yeah, man, just wanted to say thanks for the opportunity, and thanks to your audience and all the supporters that are out there. It's, you know, this is only possible because of them. So appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm glad to have you on the channel. You can come back anytime. We are to do it again here before long, maybe in the next couple months, you know, after mainnet launches, have another AMA. I think it'd be a great thing. So, but yeah, thanks for coming. Thanks again. And I guess that's it for now.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thanks, Evan.
All right, man. You have a good rest of your day and week. Okay.
Sounds good, man. You too. Catch you soon.
All right, buddy. Thanks.
Bye.